haulage drivers been offered up to €25,000 to smuggle in illegal migrants, and I spoke to some truck drivers a little earlier, not those who've been offered money to do it, but they're well aware of this situation. And Barry Moore got in touch with me. Barry's with BM Logistics. He's the compliance manager. Barry, you were listening to our conversation in the first part of the show today. Tell us about your experience.
Hi, Andrea. We've had a bit of a rough sort of last few months there. We've had a lot of penalties coming in from border force in the UK with clandestine entrance coming up onto trailers. We've had guys that are secreted onto trailers unbeknownst to any driver. They're not in the ports or anything like that. They're as far south as Dijon and Lyon, and we're just been hammered. We feel there's nowhere really that we're putting guys from work here on to check with drivers, check with them that they're doing their due diligence on it. But you come up into a port, you slow down, and clandestine makes his way onto your truck, and you're hung out to dry with it.
So what has happened? What's the most recent experience, Barry, that's proven difficult?
We've a guy that was in a secure park. He was after taking his daily rest period. He had gotten up that morning. He had checked his truck. He had all the checks and everything done on the truck as he pulled out through. He came out of this secure park. It's razor wire, guard dogs, security walking around, gated. As he came out, he comes into a roundabout. He peers off to the left to check there's no one coming into the roundabout. And someone has climbed up on his trailer, cut his way in through the top of the trailer. The driver is down into the Port of Calais, and he's notified. He's been made aware of this cut in the top of his trailer by a colleague to his right, and he went around the border force. He asked them to take this guy out of it, and then a few months later we received a penalty of £6,500.
You got a penalty of £6,500 sterling because somebody
because
had.
I had sent the video footage, off to border force, the evidence that the truck never slowed down or anything like that. There, the guy has just clambered onto the back of the truck and cut his way in through the roof.
I'm looking at it here, Barry. You sent the video into us here on Lunchtime Live. I'm looking at the video where the lorry is driving. I mean, I can't tell at what speed from the video, but certainly it's in motion, and you can see somebody running from a fenced park, and they're running at speed, considerable speed, to catch up with the lorry, and they jump up into it. So you actually had cameras on your lorry that picked this up?
Yeah. We've the cameras running the whole time. Anytime the truck is moving, we've 4 cameras monitoring both sides, then down the blind side at the door, the passenger door, and out through the forward facing the windscreen of the truck. So there's cameras there. Everything's caught. As you see, we've had this here. This is ongoing. Like, if a driver has missed it, we've had drivers that have noticed it, have seen the guys climbing up on the truck. They get them off, but this guy, he got by our driver. If you like the footage there that you see, the camera's quite low set, so it's down low at the indicator of the truck. Whereas if you can imagine, the headboard of the trailer slews out and blocks his view from the mirrors, so it's quite hard to see when you're looking off to your left into a roundabout.
You can clearly make out, Barry, that somebody is running after the lorry and the jump up into it.
Yeah. No, as I say, clearly make out from the angle of the camera. It's just not that easy to make out from the truck.
So
you've taken advantage of with these guys, that they're sitting outside of these places where a truck must slow down, must go into a junction, traffic light, roundabout, anything like that there, and they're just popping out from behind a hedge and jumping on the truck, and then we're left exposed to them.
So you have this footage that you're because somebody actually made the point a little earlier and asked today when we were having this discussion with truck drivers, could they not have CCTV cameras on their trucks? Clearly you do. I'm sure many others have as well. So you submit this footage after you get the £6,000 sterling fine, and what happens?
Yeah. Well, the first thing you do is you get a notification of penalty, and I send off. There's 19 requirements. You send off these requirements to them, but I included the footage as let's drive this home. Like, obviously we have nothing to do with it. We couldn't be held liable here. And then a few months later, the notification comes through. We're liable for 5,000 because the immigrant, the driver had gone across everything. We are compliant in every facet of our part of the job or responsibility for it. The driver's he's compliant in every facet of his, so they reduced the penalty down to half. So we got a reduction from 10,000 to 5, and the driver got a reduction from 3,000 to 1,500.
So it's the company gets the fine and the driver gets the fine? Yeah,
the company gets fined, the driver gets the fine, but the company is essentially responsible for the driver.
Yeah, so you're paying the lot. Yeah, and even with the footage, the fine was dropped 50%, but you still had to pay 5,000 for the company and 1,500 for the driver.
Yeah, that's so the company now, we have to go through the processes. We've employed barristers, solicitors to try and fight it, but we did have Ger on the radio earlier on. We had been down with Ger and IRHA meeting with Border Force there a short while before Christmas, and essentially it appeared to be above everyone's pay grade to give any answers as to why these penalties were still coming out with all this evidence against them. But we were advised to sign a petition.
And what does that mean?
You tell me. Sign a petition. I think it's going nowhere. It's
sign a petition?
Bring to 10 Downing Street and see if we can get things changed that way.
See if you can get the 6,500 back.
Yeah.
You can see why many haulage companies will pull out of continental work, Barry.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. You check your sanity on it. You check your sanity. There's been several WhatsApp videos going around amongst hauliers there prior to Christmas. Seemed to be a big push. Obviously these guys, they don't want to spend winter out in the unknown in Calais. They're making a massive push to come in. There seemed to be an awful amount of penalties. Hauliers that were getting roofs cut, like fridge trailers. There's guys coming in with saws and cutting down through the fridge trailers. We're not insured to ask drivers to check their fridge, but we're expected to ask drivers to check their fridge. It's one of the requirements from Border Forces to have them up on the roof.
And Border Forces where? In France?
UK. The UK. They're actually posted in France. So once you go in past their check-in, and their officers can clear you, as was the case with our driver there. He had been cleared by Border Force. He had passed through their security checks. He had lined up in the queues, and afterwards, so they had failed in their policing of the of the border. But it was our driver that then went back, and he subsequently.
So what's the solution here, Barry? Is it just even more enforcement and checks?
Yeah, I think there needs some support here. I know the IRHA were trying to engage and get some sort of engagement with the UK government, but I do think that we need to have political representation here and someone to approach about the safety of our drivers. The drivers are asked to go and do all this policing, pulling 8-10. We've had trailers opened with knives, hammers, chisels in the back of trailers. The guys are standing on their own with a mobile phone. And Border Force are asking that our drivers do the police and pull them out of these trailers.
It's pretty. It's not an easy job, Barry.
It's not.
No.
And the frustrating thing about it, Andrea, is that it is an industry that has suffered terribly. We can't. We're having difficulty getting guys to do the job, and now, you had this here, the threat of enormous penalties, 10,000 per head. If a guy has 7 people in the back of his trailer, he's subject to a penalty. It arrives at the house, £70,000. We get £70,000 as well.
And even if you've footage to show otherwise,
no, anything. We see that are we've had chaps that have stopped trailers or swapping trailers down around Dijon, Lyon. And they're meeting other drivers that have carried out all the checks and everything, open up the back of the trailer, and there's 8 people have been secreted in overnight. They're using straps and ratchets to lower trailers, the roof of the trailer, curtain side of trailers down. They're cutting cords, they're rejoining them. It's not some fly-by-night organisation. These are proper gangs that know what they're at.
Yeah. It's not somebody doing
total exposure.
Light decision.
We have 30 load going to the EU each week, and we are held, as responsible as a guy, a single operator. If we have one catch, we are subject to that one penalty.
Okay.
That's our